the restaurant fed us. It's just a heartwarming story to think of how many people simply looked at the two broke but not broken guys out there trying to make a difference, and everybody was helping out in their own little way. It was
Make
really
a wonderful
nice.
geography book too with a map.
Yeah. Yep.
Follow the car through the different places. What about different parts of the country? Did you find, you know, we have different regions, and they talk about the Northeast or people who live on the coast being different. What would you say was your experience, like people in Texas compared to Connecticut or Florida or
you know, you hear the
New
stories saying, okay, you know, the Connecticut, they're more uptight. New York, they're uptight. You go down south, they're a little friendlier. I gotta say, we kind of drove through Connecticut and New York, so we don't really have that many stories other than everybody that showed up to Greenfest. Everybody treated us like gold. It was just amazing. I think Becky gets credit for the best host. We again showed up at 11:30 at night. Again, never met her before, but at 11:30, Melcher doesn't drink, so she's got a 6-pack of O'Doul's for him. I enjoy a beer, so there's a 6-pack of Budweiser for me. There's barbecued ribs and all kinds of food waiting for us. It was fantastic.
Now, why did you choose Oregon to go to as an endpoint?
We ended up, Oregon wasn't initially the destination. We just kind of looked at the map and said, let's try and do 10,000 miles, in a month. And if you go from Brookfield down to Florida, we're just trying to do an outline of the country. You look at the major corridors. But we specifically ended up in Oregon because the first system didn't work. So we were calling everybody else in the industry going, we can't get it to work. Can you help us? What do you know? Who can help? And Kevin West out in Oregon called up and said, I've got a system. I've been working on it. I've had some pretty good success. If you guys show up, I'll give it to you. I'll just give it to you. And he did. And I got to say, treated us like gold. Didn't, he was working part-time washing dishes and working on his project. But he spent 3 days with us, gave us, his system, spent the 3 days installing it. It's 103 degrees the entire time. So that's, how and why did we get there is because we got the call. And that kind of sums it up for everything. Stopped to see Bonnie in San Rafael in California. We met Eugene Dombach in, somewhere in the Redwood Forest. Just a young family that we met at one stop, and then we drove 500 miles and we walked into a restaurant. It's you again. So I'm hoping to actually see Eugene this summer. He lives in New Hampshire and is very interested in green technology as well. We've stayed in touch, and we'll probably kind of go up there on our way up to Quebec. How are we doing on time?
We have about 4 minutes left, a little over 4 minutes.
Okay, so
so you're planning another road trip?
Yes, we are. Very excited because, well, we've already done it, and we've already had, some credit. I'm here today, thanks to you. But very excited that there's actually sponsors now that have stepped forward. Let's see, Angelo, I'll butcher Angelo's last name. So Angelo from Pink Monkey Water has painted the car for me when we got back. So it's no longer the blue primer, it's a nice shiny blue. He's stored the car for me over the winter. He's kind of helped me out financially. We've been working together. He's helped me out a little over the winter, and now we took the car out to local auto parts stores and said, hey, does anybody want to partner with us, or not even partner, but barter advertising for working on the car. And all the local auto parts stores said no. Angelo said, you know what, I got you covered. I'll pay for having the engine rebuilt. So instead of having the car that's broken, we'll have a brand new engine, a brand new paint job, a brand new roof, and we'll be able to hit the road. And instead of having a mechanic with me, I'm going with a musician this time. And we have Green Fest that we're doing in Danbury this year, and we've already got 25 bands lined up, a bunch of dance studios that are doing dance routines. But we've got a campground in Quebec City that has invited us. We've got another group in British Columbia that has invited us. And we're working with a couple of people in New York City to do a Green Fest in Central Park. So the goal this time is for the crazy green guy and the musician, who is actually now an ambassador of peace from the United Nations because he wrote a peace song. We're going to jump in the car and have one hell of a time.
It has nothing to do with your car, but I'm into astrology, and Neptune went into Pisces. It'll be there for the next 14 years, and it rules the arts and medicine and different things, and oil, and it's supposed to be very good for music, and you're telling me this, and I'm thinking, oh, isn't it funny? You're not going with a mechanic, you're going with a musician.
Yep.
Which seems like, an old car you'd go with, but
yeah,
you said it'll be rebuilt.
We named the tour for the children a World Peace Tour. And we're actually going to go to elementary schools all over North America, and we're going to teach kids about energy independence and peace.
Right, and those are the big issues today that our government is trying to foster too,
Right.
more of the green technology. And then there's some people that believe that it really isn't as good, or it's no better because it also is using energy. There's all kinds of ideas out there.
Right.
And maybe just very quickly, we talked about the road trip. Maybe you could just, we have about 3 minutes left. Just tell the people what you are doing with the car. What is it running on? Just a quick rundown. Because I think we did it in the last show, but not this one.
Today, the car is sitting in outside of Angelo's warehouse. The block is inside, and the engine heads are at Levine's Automotive. And within the next week, they're all going to come back together, rebuild the car, and then put a brand new hydrogen system in. That hydrogen system should give us at least 100% increase in gas mileage right off the bat. But technologically, that system has the ability to allow the car to run 100% on water. And
no gas?
No gas. That will be our goal, but it will only be part of the goal. It'll be part of the research project. The excitement will really be teaching the kids about it and using the car to catch their attention long enough to learn.
That's really, really wonderful, especially I think today with the budgets being so constrained for education and other things, and field trips being cut down. So I think that would be wonderful where you're actually going out to the schools.
That's exactly it. We're a field trip in a box. I've done a lot of teaching, elementary schools, high schools, colleges. I even taught in a class on advances in education science at Yale last year. So I've got the ability to do the lectures and do the multimedia presentations, and then Pete comes along as the musician with the peace song, and we put it all together.
In my background, I spent 34 years teaching elementary school, so I have an interest in that too. We have to wrap it up, and there will be the video where you'll be showing the people what the car actually looks like finished.
Correct.
And thank you for watching, and keep watching because it's not over yet. There's more to come with the video. And thank you very much, Stephen.
Thank you, Sandy.
Rattle in the back and the windshield's got a crack. The mats are kind of worn and the seats a little torn. The radio don't play and the washer it don't spray. It's got a few battle scars, but this old car, this old car, it gets me where I wanna go. This old car, this old car, it gets me where I wanna go. The paint's pretty good, but there's a ding in the hood, and it's got a little bit of rust, but it leaves them in the dust. The engine runs fine, starts up most every time. It's gone wide and far. This old car, this old car, it gets me where I wanna go. This old car, this old car, it gets me where I wanna go. Sometimes I think back about that warm summer night with the radio playing. It was just you and me in my car. We woke up together at the dawn's first light. I never ever thought I'd ever get that far. This old car, this old car, it gets me where I wanna go. This old car, this old car, it gets me where I wanna go. This old car, this old car, it gets me where I wanna go. It's got a rattle in the back and the windshield's got a crack. The mats are kinda worn and the seat's a little torn. The radio don't play and the washer it don't spray. It's got a few battle scars.